Hello, I'm Roger Scholey, former reporter at the Union Tribune, here with Peter Jensen from The Reader and other publications he's written about over the years. And today we're talking about one of the articles he wrote in the 1990s called The Look of San Diego Branch Libraries. So tell us about branch libraries and why you like them.
Well, I mean, I think it was someone that we both know, Bill Sannwald. Sannwald. There was a renaissance in branch libraries.
He was the city librarian for San Diego for
yeah.
10 or 15 years.
And it was like he hired great architects, and I don't know whether he gave them carte blanche, but in some cases it looks like it. Like they just, could be innovative, be responsive to the changing use of a library, but at the same token, make this a community center that people are proud of and that is attractive. Almost like a fishing lure dropped into a river or something like that. You don't want to just stamp these things out like the old Carnegie libraries, as beautiful as they are. From a historical standpoint, but they're pretty straightforward. Mm-hmm. I think there's still one Carnegie library over in. There's a few.
Yeah.
One in Mission Beach that I think is pretty much unchanged, but our branch libraries went wild, and they were going wild when I wrote that. Mm-hmm. When I wrote this story, so I think if you wanted to take an architectural tour of San Diego, it would not be difficult to come up with truly 10 libraries that you just might want to go see.
Well, of the city civic architecture, I'd say in any city, the library is one of the only ones that actually is for the public. The other ones are for firefighters or police officers or bureaucrats or utilities people, but at the library, a city, even a school, but a library is for the general public, and that's why Bill's work in making them welcoming to neighborhoods, the neighbors around them, they became community centers, more than not only book depositories, but places for people to enjoy themselves.
Yeah, I certainly can't speak to every library, but I've been in a few recently because I'm involved with an artist, James Hubble, who's has a number of exhibitions in the branch libraries. Simultaneous with when we're filming this, the San Diego and Tijuana is a world design capital cities. So these exhibitions are going in these branch libraries, and so I'm discovering a few places I've never been. The Otay Mesa Library down there, which when you get inside it suddenly opens up into this big public space, this sort of an all-purpose room is very nice down there, and then there's one up there near IKEA in Mission Valley, and I believe that was a Quigley library. So we have these exhibitions going into these different places, and these places are busy. You're so right. These are community centers, and I have grandchildren who use the library constantly. I mean, they're every week it's a stack of books like this coming home from the library, and they know their way around the library. If I'm the one driving them to the library, here, you need to go here, this is where we stop, this is where we park. I mean, they're as familiar with that place as they are with any local park in their neighborhood.
And I think what's interesting, and I've looked into this when I was covering this sort of thing, was after World War II, the city was growing so fast that they couldn't take time to be very unique or be particular about many public buildings. So they took one design of a library and duplicated it half a dozen times or more. So some of the older libraries that are still here look the same. They're not very embellished. They're kind of plain, but that's because the city was on a budget and they couldn't afford to have a very big building or anything unique. They wanted to have a standard thing like post offices. But in recent times, when architects and librarians realized the importance of a library, they put more effort into it. And Bill Sannwald always would say, a cheap library is not a better library. And a good library does not require that much more expense. It's just a matter of care and quality that you put into it.
I think the strong point of this article is not it's certainly not my writing or anything like that. The strong point is the interviews that I had with a few people about the dynamic of that library. You know, why that architecture actually was, you know, had a purpose to move people in certain ways, to inspire them, to get them to pause, to rest, to feel sheltered. All these things that architecture, when it's wonderful, does. And I just remember some great interviews with some of these architects that I ran the tape recorder and put those into the article.
And you know, there's always a Friends of a Library related to one of these libraries. You don't get a Friends of a fire station or Friends of a city hall building. There's really no group that supports it out of the love of it, but you always get a Friends of the Library. That tells you what the public thinks about this.
Yeah, good point.
I don't know.
Good
Public landscape. Thank you.